that was disappointing. That was really disappointing, guys. Last Voyage of the Demeter. If you don't know what this movie is, which I'm guessing a lot of you don't, it's a movie where there's a ship called the Demeter transporting cargo. They find out Dracula's on the ship and he starts picking them all off. Sounds like a really cool premise, and it's actually an excerpt from the Dracula story, though if I recall correctly, it's been a long time since I've read that book. If I recall correctly, it's just kind of a short, quick, thing in the book. But in this, they really wanted to expand on it and turn that into a horror premise, which I think is a great idea. I think that's a wonderful premise for a film. You can make it really fun and really creepy and really tense, and there's a lot you can do with that, I think. But they wasted it. It's the movie has the first third of this movie is a pretty slow start to everything. It's a slow start. It's building things up, which nothing wrong with that. You can have a slow start so long as the payoff is good. Then in the second third of the film, the middle, it starts the payoff does start getting good, and you're thinking, okay, we're here, it's getting good, shit's going down, stuff's happening. Then in the last third, I couldn't handle it anymore. It was too stupid. It was just too stupid, and too much of Chekhov's gun being just left on the floor and ignored. It's I'm sorry, I can't enjoy a horror film where the characters are goddamn idiots. I just can't, unless that's the whole point, like in Tucker and Dale versus Evil or something. But I just can't enjoy that. It's how am I supposed to root for these characters? How am I supposed to care when they die, when at that point in the movie, I just feel like you all deserve to die? Because you're all stupid, and you don't do anything with the information you uncover. But so much of what I want to say is in the spoiler section, but I'll try to say what I can without spoilers. I like Dracula's design in the film. It looks pretty cool. It's on the more monster side. Some people aren't going to like that, I'm sure. I'm sorry, there's dogs in the house. Some people aren't going to like that, I'm sure, because some people prefer, gentlemanly Dracula. I like it when we get both. I like it when we get human form Dracula and monster form Dracula. And you know what? This isn't a spoiler because it just doesn't happen, okay? There's this point in the movie where a character is talking about, because this one character knows what Dracula is, they're familiar with him. They say, Dracula is a monster that takes human form, a monster that wears the skin of man. And I thought, so what you're building up to is Dracula is gonna take human form at some point in this film and, trick the people or manipulate the people. No, it never happens. It just never happens. I thought that what was going on in the film was Dracula's in his pure monster form because he doesn't have enough blood yet, and then when he drinks enough blood, his power will return and he can change his shape. But it just doesn't happen. Why even mention that? Why even bring up, Dracula wears the skin of man, he takes human form, if you're not gonna do it? It's so weird. It's like if I made a movie about a dragon, and I'm and I have a character go, beware of the dragons. Dragons breathe fire. They are masters of fire, and then there's no fire at all in the film. What would be the point of that? That would be a stupid, wasted line. This is a 2-hour film. We don't need wasted lines, okay? We don't need you to waste our time. And there's so much, stuff that happens that goes absolutely nowhere, which I guess I'm going to have to save for spoilers. But, my God, there are things they learn about Dracula that they don't do anything with. And yet they spend, long scenes showing them discovering these things about him. And it's okay, great. What are you going to do with it? Nothing! They do nothing with it. It goes absolutely nowhere. And something's really bugging the dogs. I wish I could go check, but I'm not the one who actually owns them, so... maybe... See, the dogs are mad at this movie, too. They're really annoyed. Oh, God. Yeah, it's just... I I mean, the acting's all fine, except the kid. The kid's acting isn't very good, to be honest. And there was so much I could call before it was going to happen, like predictable stuff, which isn't the worst thing in a horror movie. If you just want it to be fun, being predictable isn't the worst thing. But being stupid is a problem. I can't enjoy your movie and care about your characters when they're stupid. Like, some of the last deaths in the movie are so dramatic. Like, you're supposed to care so much. It's like, I don't care, because you're all being such idiots. Like, I want you all to die. By the end, I wanted Dracula to kill everybody. And, like, Wilda and I, as we were watching the movie, when it looked like Dracula was going to kill someone, we were like, yeah, kill him. And then when they would get away, we'd be like, no, get him, kill him, don't let him get away. It's like, we didn't want anyone to live anymore. And it's funny, there was only one other guy in the theater. He fell asleep halfway through the movie and he was snoring. Like, it's God. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of subjective whether a movie scares you or not, or whether you can forgive certain stupid actions on certain characters' behalves. But I can't deal with, like, when characters are acting like absolute idiots in a horror film. I can't enjoy the horror film. It's a me thing. If you set stuff up and have them discover things and you do nothing with it, I get upset because now I feel like you've completely wasted my time. I really wanted this movie to be good. It tries to set up a sequel. I don't want it. I don't want your sequel. I especially, like, you know, I just don't care. I don't have faith in your ability to execute well on a sequel. Okay, I'm going to get into spoilers now because I'm not sure what else I can say about this film. I give this film a 4 out of 10. By the way, I guess that's one last thing I can say. But let's get into spoilers now. 3, 2, 1 spoilers. Okay, so yeah, some of the stuff I was talking about, like I completely called all the animals were going to be the first to die. There's this character in the film who... So apparently it turns out that the people who hired the Demeter's crew to transport the cargo intentionally put Dracula in the ship with them. Because I guess Dracula wants to go to England. It's suggested that they might have made a deal with Dracula to get him to England. But there's a lot that isn't explained. First of all, why is there dirt in all of the boxes? Is that just to give the illusion that there's a lot of cargo to transport? That's my guess. That's why. Second, you guys have Dracula in a crate. Just kill him. Just kill him. Like, why are you, like, doing what he wants? Are there more, like, Draculas? Are there more vampires where you are? Like, what's the problem? Just seal him in the crate and fucking set the crate on fire, or throw the crate into the ocean, or, you know, bring the crate out into the daylight and open it up and let him get fried. Now, my best guess for why they don't do that is I believe the woman said at one point during the film, the woman who was literally put on the ship to be food for Dracula throughout the entire ride. I guess this, like, did they think this one woman was going to be enough, or did they know they were dooming the whole ship? If they knew they were dooming the whole ship, why even put the woman on the ship? What's the point? Like, it's not going to, if it's not going to be enough to sate him. So my best guess is this woman says, like, I don't know how to kill Dracula. So maybe the people in the town didn't know how to kill him either. So they thought maybe he was completely unkillable. But have a line explaining that or something. Have the doctor, like, when he discovers that, you know, they made a deal with Dracula, have him say, you had Dracula in a box and you didn't kill him. And, like, the woman then could have been where she said, as you don't think we would have killed him if we knew how to, and then you could have had her say, as far as the people in my town are concerned, he's unkillable. The only way to deal with him is to make peace with him. You could have said a line like that, and then that would have made it make more sense, but they don't have a line like that. It's like, I can fix your script with just a few little tweaks here and there. And then, like, yeah, so there's other stupid shit too. Like, there's this huge, long, drawn-out scene in the film where they find out which crate Dracula was in. They find it, and they go, now we know where the demon sleeps. And I'm like, okay, this is gonna go somewhere, right? No! They do nothing with it! What was the point of that? What was the point of that whole scene? What was the point of that line? We know where the demon sleeps. Who cares? You didn't do anything with it. And it's so stupid because I can think of about 30 things you can do with that information. You know, like, okay, they didn't, like this woman and her village, they didn't know how to kill Dracula. But the people on this boat know that sunlight is deadly to, like, other vampires. They saw 2 people burst into flames after Dracula had turned them. So you could have had them be like, okay, you're, like, even if, I know in the original book, sunlight actually kind of, like, gets rid of his power. It doesn't necessarily burn him. But, like, you know, if I was a person on this ship and I saw Dracula's minions die in the sunlight, I would at least want to try to see if sunlight can kill Dracula. You know he sleeps throughout the day, so it stands to reason that he can't handle the sunlight. The sunlight would either kill him or depower him. Even if it depowers him, then that means get him into the sunlight and kill him there when he has no powers. You're all a bunch of freaking word I can't use on YouTube anymore. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, just, you found where he sleeps. Great. Freaking bring the crate above deck, open it up in the sunlight and let him fry. Or open it up in the sunlight where he's depowered and shoot him with your weapons and hit him with your axes. Or, if you don't want to do that, bring it up and just toss it into the water and let it sink. That's their plan later. Later, they're like, let's sink the Demeter, send Dracula to a watery grave. You don't have to sink the Demeter. Just take his stupid box when he's in it and throw it into the water. And some of you might be thinking, well, obviously it's way too heavy for them to lift that up above the deck and throw it into the water or open it up. Okay, fine. If you're if your plan is to completely sink the Demeter, like here, I've got an easier plan for you. Why don't you just bust through the floorboards? I think there's 2 different floors. Bust through each of the floorboards of the ship that lead down to that coffin right where he is, so that sunlight can reach down there, and then open it there. Just do something. Morons! But no, they don't do any of that. Later in the movie, they're like, no, you know what we need to do? We need to sink the entire ship. And I'm thinking, you don't need to sink the entire ship. But fine. You know what? If you're gonna sink the entire ship, here's what you do. Do it during the daytime! No, later, they try to do it at night, and then they're not even doing it. They're all standing on the top of the ship with their guns. I'm like, aren't you gonna sink the ship? What are you doing? What are you doing? Now, obviously, I never expected them to actually win in the film. Some people might be saying, well, they can't actually kill Dracula, then there's no sequel. Yeah, but have them try. You know, have them try these plans and then have these plans not work. They're not even trying the plans. Like, you know what I would have done? I would have had them, like, either bring the box to the surface, or get sunlight down to the box, and then they open it, but Dracula's not in there. Like, either there's nothing in there, or his first victim's in there, the guy with the knife, because we never saw what happened to his body. You could have said Dracula turned him, but then, like, saved him for later, and that guy hops out of there, and sunlight hits him, and he bursts into flames, and he starts attacking. You could have had, like, a flaming vampire guy attacking people. And, like, you could have said Dracula was ready for them, because during the scene where they look for the box, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we see what Dracula's doing during that scene. You could have shown that, like, revealed later, Dracula saw us find his box, so he knew what we were going to do, and he planned for it, because he's not just a monster, he's an intelligent being, he wears the skin of man, like, do something with it! You didn't do anything with his weakness to sunlight. You didn't do anything with that where's the skin of man line. You didn't do anything with them finding where he sleeps. And you didn't do anything with their plan to sink the Demeter. It all goes nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. It's like, they have some cool ideas here, like the whole fact that, like, at the end during their final plan, which they're not even doing it, they're just standing on the top of the ship, like, Dracula starts flying, it's like, oh my god, we didn't know he could fly, and yeah, that makes sense, there's no reason they could think that. But you know what you could have had happen? You could have had them start sinking the Demeter, or, like, throw the thing over, I don't know, you could have had them sinking the Demeter, and then he blasts up out of the bottom flying. It's like, oh, we didn't know he could fly, so now this plan isn't gonna work. Like, Yeah, so, like, literally during the whole movie, Will and I, because the guy next to us was sleeping and there was no one else in the theater, the whole last third of the movie, we were, like, yelling at the characters on the screen, just do this, just do that, just go here, just go there, just, and they didn't do any of it. Like, I can't enjoy a movie when I'm screaming at the incompetence of the people on the screen. And then at the very end, like, the girl reveals she's actually been infected this entire time, and her eyes turn to the vampire color. And yet, every other time we've seen someone's eyes turn to the vampire color, they're a vampire at that point now. But she isn't, because main character. And she goes, I'm going to have to let myself die. And she just goes out into the sunlight, bursts into flames, doesn't make a sound. That's another huge pet peeve of mine in media. When someone gets lit on fire, it's just like, That's... It's one of the most painful ways to die. You would be screaming and... Oh, it's so dumb. It's so freaking dumb. And Dracula could have so easily killed the doctor guy at one point where he says, I don't fear you. And Dracula goes, you will. And he starts just cutting his neck. And I guess that's for the sequel, which I don't want to see. I wanted him to die. I was annoyed that he survived, and I'm pretty sure in the original novel nobody survives, so I don't like that she did that movie. I don't care about him. He's stupid. He's stupid. They're all stupid. So, yeah, I guess I kind of went off on a tangent there, but, yeah, the movie was really frustrating. It's really frustrating when characters are dumb in a horror film. It's like, your life is on the line. Can you make a sensible decision? Like I said, the middle was pretty good, though. Like, the guy turning into a vampire was something, like, I was like, oh, cool, yeah, here we go. The kid getting killed, I was like, damn, yeah, okay, this movie's mean, this movie's unforgiving. Like, I thought, like, okay, yeah, now this is the stuff we're talking about. But during every scene where they were just, during the scene, like, with the kid's funeral, where they've already found Dracula's sleeping place, and it's daytime, and they're just dicking around having a funeral, Wild and I were yelling, it's daytime, go kill him, go kill Dracula! It's revealed bullets hurt him and axes hurt him, just flip open his thing and... Yeah, so, those are my thoughts on the film. Feel free to let me know your thoughts. I don't know how to end videos.